see Endgame when it comes out again?
I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Most likely.
Unquestionably, yes.
Just to contribute to it beating Avatar.
Right. Yeah. It's like
Well,
40 million away.
I've heard it's projected to not do that.
I think it needs like 40 million. It's like not a lot.
Yeah. 40 million.
Or 50 million.
And I mean, so here's the question. If it stays in theaters, can it do it by the time it comes out? The film, of course. And I do think it can do that. If it has to make a certain amount of money each day to do that, but I think it's a possibility.
But adding the new scenes helps.
Well, the thing is, like, it's post-credit scenes. That's it. Mm-hmm. It's not actual, like, anything substantial to the movie itself. So it's apparently one thing is going to be a joke, one thing is going to be kind of a behind-the-scenes thing, and one thing is going to be, I guess, the typical Marvel whatever.
Yeah, and then, like, a tribute also.
Yeah.
The fan theory is already flying fucking hard and loose.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm totally gonna go see it because the X-Men are popping up in the post-credit sequences.
Yeah, it's not gonna be that.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. They already cast Wolverine.
No, they didn't.
No, I bet it's a joke. I bet it's like Fat Thor, like doing something.
It would be so amazing if they just got Keanu Reeves just to be Keanu Reeves. They
just play his fucking Cyberpunk teaser.
Yeah.
He's like, wake the fuck up, samurai. Everyone's like, oh my god, they cuss in a Marvel film.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really have no idea what they're going to do. I mean, I'm going to see it again. But the other thing is, even if this does make enough to beat the current box office of Avatar, they're going to re-release Avatar before the second movie comes out.
I will fucking go to James Cameron's house and peg him with rotten eggs if that happens, okay? That fucking quadruple dipping son of a bitch.
And Eric,
I mean,
that those movies will eventually come out.
Yeah, and also here's my response to that. A year from now, they'll re-release Endgame again, because why not?
I would love if James Cameron released it and Marvel was like, no, we'll release it like a week later. And
Joker is like James Cameron's dressed as Joker, hanging upside down. He's like, "You and I are destined to do this forever."
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I've already seen people complaining about Disney doing this. I did see one funny meme about it. It was Thanos with Disney logo over his face, and he was like, reality can often be disappointing, and he just lifts the Infinity Gauntlet and he says, but now reality can be whatever I want it to be, and just cuts to the headline of Disney to re-release Endgame.
Yeah, basically.
But like, here's the thing. Avatar fucking came out less than a year after it came out. They're like, with 6 minutes of additional footage. Mm-hmm. I worked in a theater when that movie came back out again. And the additional footage was like extra establishing shots, more landscapes, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It was nothing substantial. And they counted it towards its worldwide box office gross. So you know what? If the number one movie can do it, anybody can do it, and nobody should.
I agree.
About it.
Yeah. It's what's fair is fair.
Also, I can't think of a movie more undeserving of that much fucking money than Avatar.
Name your favorite character from Avatar. Give me their full name and their entire plot line.
Captain scars on his face who like to point at fences.
Like when your best character is the villain and you're supposed to root against
beyond
him.
that fence wants to kill you, and I will not say much else beyond this tone of voice and or substance for the next 3 hours.
And we wonder why I lost out as Hicks in Aliens.
Really? The big rumor.
For he was cast as Hicks, but it wasn't working out. So Jim just called Michael Bean, and he was like,
"I like that dude, though."
Lang?
Stephen Lang.
Because he was the one that everyone was like, he should play Cable.
Yes. I kind of agree with that casting.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Great job. So
I think I first actually saw him in Public Enemies. Or at least that's the first time I noticed him.
Manhunter. He's in that.
Is he in Manhunter?
He's Freddie Lowndes.
Holy shit! Oh my god!
Yeah, he's Freddie Lowndes in Manhunter. It's crazy.
I have not seen that movie in so long. I can't.
He's the guy that Dollarhide captures, and he's like, "Do you see me for who I am?" And he's the guy in the flaming wheelchair. Yeah.
Oh, he's the guy in the oh.
Yeah.
He's in Tombstone. I don't remember him in Tombstone.
Yeah, he's the guy who I think delivers the kill shot to Dillinger in Public Enemies.
Okay.
He's going to shoot Johnny Depp in the face.
Jesus.
No, he has my favorite line in that whole movie because he goes in to talk to Marion Cotillard, and what he says is like right before he went, he's like he leaned in and whispered something in my ear, and she's kind of flippant. She's like, "What was it?" And he says, what does he say? He says, "Bye bye Blackbird," which is something he was supposed to say to her specifically, and then she has a nervous breakdown because it's the whole, and then the Last of the Mohican theme threatens to swell and then stops. Who did the fucking music to that movie? Because it was like, oh, Michael Mann. Okay, I'll just do the same music again, but only the first few notes, and then I'll pull back real hard.
Right.
You know what I remember him?
Nope.
He was in The Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yes, he was.
Oh, that's right, he was.
He's really good, and that's right before Avatar.
I fucking love that movie.
I haven't seen that movie in a while. Jesus.
Yeah, I love that movie. Like when he's fucking driving the Jeep and he's like, "What are you doing?" Cloud bursting, and it's gone, and he fucking hits a rock.
He's the one that's trying to run through walls, right?
He flattens the fucking tire, and Ewan McGregor's character's like, "You had the whole desert to drive in. You hit this one rock." So yeah, that's an After Dark, and I guess we're gonna kind of talk about Endgame a little bit, and kind of since some time has passed, and see how we feel about it. Because Monster, stop playing in the back.
Yeah. I actually don't know what we're gonna categorize this as, but who knows? We'll see.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's an After Dark, and I got bit in the face by a dog today. All right,
we're gonna try to be a little bit more thoughtful than when I was in a review. What was it? A reaction when we talked about this movie?
Yeah.
Our very feels impacted recording.
And look, I think it's safe to say that we all leave with our emotions. So yeah, immediately afterwards, that's the first thing we're gonna do. But now there's like some time that's passed. Like I don't want to say that like it's that those fucking internet takes where it's like actually Endgame is bad.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything like that.
No.
But like the things I like about the movie are more concrete, and the things that are more problems, I would say. Yeah, issues. They're there. I can see them. But like, yeah, you know. But I don't think we're gonna talk about that much. I mean, unless that's where we want to start. Like, are there things looking back now that you're like, yeah, that wasn't great because
I think the best thing would be just for each of us to first touch on what we still think about it. Like honestly, just get that as the barometer and
it's
go
fucking
forward
good.
from there. Yeah,
it's
I'm still excited to watch it again. Like that's I don't even think I feel that way about Infinity War at this point. Like I enjoy Infinity War, but I
kind of want to watch them back to back.
Here's the thing.
do too.
I have like I think between Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, like to me, they all have infinite rewatchability to me. Like I have gone back and rewatched Infinity War like 10 times.
I just saw Civil War again like a week ago.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I watched Infinity War more recently. That's why I'm feeling that way. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be a time that I'm not going to want to watch Endgame, except when I don't have a spare 3 hours.
Right.
I think the big thing that Endgame does to Infinity War is that, which is what a lot of people's complaints about Infinity War is like a lot of the weight is erased because you know how it ends.
Yeah.
Like the Gamora scene in Infinity War, like it's obviously like the outcome is different, but like those kind of actions in that movie, it's why they're two parts of a whole story.
Right. So here's the thing. The Gamora stuff, that's not hurt for me by what they do with the whole future time replicant thing.
Yeah, because like the Gamora they knew is fucking gone.
Yeah, she doesn't exist.
That's hurt more for me by the way they handle Scarlett Johansson's death.
Yes.
Which is interesting because I like that choice of a death and it still emotionally impacts me, but my feelings on the way that they handled it have sharpened. Like my okayness with them using the exact same music without making really any edits, that bothers me now. In the same way that I'm bothered by The Hobbit just reusing the Black Riders theme. Just reusing it, just like reusing it and applying it to orcs.
You are like second person in my life who I've heard bring that up. And the first one was YouTuber and Twitter user Lindsay Ellis, who has a fantastic channel. She's she has 3 like 45-minute long videos about the Hobbit series. And they're all good because she was super upset by those movies.
For a good reason.
For like the exact same reasons I think you'd probably list. It's like Peter Jackson just like resting on his fucking laurels so hard.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get the using the music because like it actually hurt me more when the like I was like use the same fucking music in the same fucking shot. I wasn't even over it from before, and now you hit me with it again. My issues with that come from the fact that like, and if like from an in-universe perspective, the reasons why this happened make sense. Whereas Tony Stark, a huge fucking funeral with every superhero attending, and it probably got press coverage, and fucking Nick Fury was there.
He's also the guy that like died on the battlefield and won the war.
Yeah, that's true.
She dies off planet in the past.
Guys, off planet. There's no body. And for most of her life, no one knew her existence was a secret.
Yeah,
it's the point of her character.
Yeah, I like her arc and all that. Yeah, I think all that's great.
The scene with Banner and Hawkeye like is so good.
It's really good.
I tried.
Yeah, all that stuff around it that comes out of it is good, but at the same time, I keep coming back to like. He killed the one woman Avenger.
Yep.
Like,
it's a real bad
and he killed
look.
the first one. Like, it's not a good look. So yeah, like it's just there's a weird feeling to it. But again, like I can appreciate that parts of it are really well done, and it leads to some great moments of like I still love Hawkeye being like, you go take the stones, you go back and you talk to the floating red guy. Like that line is so good.
It's the trap door beneath the whole like kill Black Widow or don't kill Black Widow is that if you have Hawkeye throw himself off that thing, it's like cool, you died, but like and brought your family back, but now like they're without you and they'll have no idea where you are, what you did, how you did it, blah blah blah. And like his whole thing was learning to accept the idea that like it could be reversed. Whereas at Black Widow, it's like no, like all of you are the only family I have left.
Well, it's also like he also at that point believes that he has, which is one of the things I want to get to, is like I've been thinking about, like he believes he's done like quote unquote like not good things. I guess like gray, because one of the things is like when we get back, I guess when we get to like Homecoming in the future, how many criminal organizations did Hawkeye take out in those 5 years?
Oh dear God!
Well, the fact that he had worked his way. The fact that he had worked his way over to Japan should give you an idea of how America's doing.
Well, they say that he was in Mexico.
Last in Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, now that you say it, I mean, this might be
running around fucking criminals.
And like, imagine if you're the like the part of the half the population that got snapped, you come back and you're like time to re-enter my criminal. Where is everybody?
Oh my God! They're just rotting corpses.
My infrastructure, all my men, my buildings have been completely destroyed.
And if they do what I've been talking about if they ever bring back the Netflix characters, like the Hand are just all dead, like they're all gone. Hawkeye just killed all of them.
Insult the fucking Netflix characters is like, while you were canceled, Hawkeye finished the job you started off screen.
Well, there's that, and there's also like, oh, this leaves all these holes in these like with the criminal underground for other characters to take their place.
Yeah.
Fisk is in a grave, just like rotting. Like,
No, see, I
Oh,
wouldn't see him
God.
dying. He just standing at like like Vanessa's grave, just like Vanessa.
yeah.
Can you imagine if like fucking Vanessa got snapped? Like,
Oh
Fisk
my god!
shits himself. He's like, what the fuck?
No, I see. I just think he'd just be like unhinged and just killing. He would just be walking down the streets with guns, not guns, just choke slamming people into cars.
No,
Yeah.
he stood perfectly still for 5 years.
Yes.
And while she was getting snapped, he just goes "Vuh," and then doesn't finish it because she disappears, and then she just kind of she just re-enters existence. He goes Nessa.
I just see him because it just like goes away, right? It doesn't like sit there.
Well,
Um,
I've heard people. I've heard it say that like the reason why the shots of the 5 years later are so grim and weird and hazy looking is someone said like, yeah, that's what happens when you turn billions of people into dust particles.
See, but in Infinity War, they don't turn into dust particles. They just kind
No,
of
They kind of
unravel.
flake.
Yeah.
They turn into ash. Like it's
Yeah.
weird. They're not to use this word to talk about humans, but they're rather crispy.
Yeah, but they don't like burn. They just kind of disintegrate. It's like a different thing. So like I would say like if you were going to make that kind of argument, it's like, all right, it's been 5 years of how many industries completely collapsed? Like how many planes fell out of the sky? Like how many cars exploded on highways?
Aren't doing their fucking jobs. Like
How many just fires are going on? Like everywhere.
I mean, basically the entire world would be Detroit, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Detroit's unaffected. Detroit's like,
Yeah.
Oh fuck, no! I heard of a city that's even worse than Detroit, but I can't remember the name of it.
Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh, it's in shit. Oh, Gary, Indiana, or something like that.
Yes, yeah, that was like Gary, Indiana's a shit.
Like apparently, like the police in Gary, Indiana, if they see you stop at a red light, will pull up next to you and go, "What the fuck are you doing?" If you're not from there. And you'd go, what do you mean? They go, don't stop at red lights. You roll and go.
What?
Wow.
The criminals are so bad in Gary. If they see you and notice you're out of town, and see you come to a full stop at a red light, they will either kill you or mug you or both.
Oh, Detroit's like a different thing. It's not the crime; it's the fact that they're abandoning giant sections of the city to the wilderness.
Detroit it looks like a demilitarized zone.
Oh, it's why people like to film there because they don't have to build post-apocalyptic sets.
It's also
why.
It's also why well-to-do like 20-somethings like to buy property there and renovate them because they can pretty much do whatever they want to do there.
Oh, yeah, you can buy property for like $15 in Detroit.
Yeah, you can also fight bears. So
yeah,
you can fight.
No, but like the bears have legitimately returned to the Detroit area.
Yeah,
they're shrinking the city limits because they cannot police and fire departments cannot handle stuff like outside, and a lot of houses keep burning down because people are going in and stripping them of the copper piping, but it's the gas lines.
Yeah.
So then the houses just explode and catch on fire, and they don't have enough fire people to put them out.
Detroit has become like a petri dish, like experiment for like the actual apocalypse.
I mean,
the actual like Mad Max pre-apocalypse.
Yeah, it's like what happens when an entire city is built on one industry and then that industry vanishes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're bringing the coal back. It's fine. We're gonna do it.
Anyways, Endgame. A lot of Detroits exist after Endgame. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't really say there's outside of the things you brought up with Black Widow. Like that was the biggest thing for me that I was like, this is not a good look. But everything else in the movie, like it hits all the points that I want it to, and it especially subverts things you expect. Like with Thor.
The whole going back to the Black Widow thing real quick, like the whole bad look, like it's completely unintended, and I can very confidently say that because you don't. Like the thought process of like, oh well, fuck this lady character does not come from the same people who are like, yeah, we're gonna have a scene where all of the women come together and just fuck shit up.
I agree.
I agree, but I feel like I don't know. It just
they inadvertently turned a character who'd been around since the beginning into like a very I wouldn't say an afterthought. There's not enough time or emotion spent on it.
Yeah. And I mean that's because we haven't gotten really enough one-on-one time with Nat because she's always been a side character.
She's the third most tenured character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's either her or what's his name, War Machine,
Rhodey.
Oh, Rhodey. Yeah.
because he's in the first movie.
Right. He's in
the fourth.
Well,
movie?
I mean, if we just do that actor, he's in the third
He's
movie.
in two.
And yeah,
He's in the
so
same one that she's in.
yeah, so
Yeah, I don't know, but that's
I get what you mean. It doesn't bother me.
Monster was screaming at me.
That's my biggest problem. Like, but everything else, like I was saying, like it even subverts expectations because,
right.
case in point, all of the ads or the trailers that would feature skinny Thor, like
Right.
They fucking did that.
like
It's all that stuff from the very beginning of the movie.
Mhm.
It's
CGI deception where like short-haired, bearded Thor's walking in that fucking time traveling suit, and then the actual shot is
no. So if you go back, Chris Hemsworth isn't in any of those shots. He's conveniently not there.
He's not in the ship, or I think he is in the ship.
Hang on. He is 100% in one of the trailers. They're walking up in the white suits. They see.
I mean, maybe he is. Maybe he is, but I don't remember him being there. I remember because I remember looking at it in the movie being like, they just cut him out of the frame so you don't see it. Because it's exactly the same shot. But I don't know. I
know he's totally in one of the white suits in the trailer.
He might be, I guess. I guess. I don't know. I need to watch it again.
I wonder if they just either filmed it twice with him in and out of like the different.
They might have,
or if they just filmed
him
in it at all.
They even went in and they CGI'd Evans's outfit from the New York scene because he's wearing in the movie his Avengers 1 outfit. In the trailer, he has they composited his chain like the Endgame outfit, the Endgame Captain America outfit.
Yeah, he's only wearing the Endgame outfit in like the final battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's wearing it in the quick scene where Tony says, "Do you trust me?"
Yes.
No, I think that was I remember it being the Avengers 1 outfit. Maybe I'm
nope. Because there was people saying, because there were people pointing that out, going like there's some weird blurring around his neck that doesn't look quite right.
I do remember that, but I don't know.
Yeah, and then the Russos were like, "Oh yeah, we've been using deceptive marketing because there's still surprises we don't want you to know about."
Well, yeah, I assumed that. Yeah.
And I just took a look at the trailer real quick. That's for some reason it kicked me off. And no, Evans is not in the trailer at all. At least in the white suits.
Oh, Hemsworth, you mean?
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I could have sworn he was, but nope, he's not.
It's confusing because they've re-released those trailers mixed in with like movies now. So
new TV spots and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I've only seen like one or two trailers for the movie since I saw it, and man, do they just not care about spoiling anything.
Oh yeah, they like dropped.
Yeah.
Like
well, okay. Like the thing is, like when the Ultron trailer leaked, like what do? Do you do what other companies do, which is scramble and pull the fucking trailer, despite the fact that everyone's fucking seen it. It doesn't matter if they saw it in HD. It doesn't matter if they saw it in blurry ass cam footage. They saw it. So Marvel and Disney were like, "Well, goddamn it, Ultron," or "Goddamn it, Hydra," and then just released the HD trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, was that for Age of Ultron?
It was for Age of Ultron.
It
aired at Comic-Con and then it leaked, and then Disney was like, "Oh, fuck it, get out in front of it."
Yeah, they released it the next morning,
which was like, it's funny because when you compare the two companies, like the mistakes that Fox has made. I remember the Days of Futures Past Comic-Con trailer leaked, and within like a day and a half, it was just gone from the internet. I was like, why not just release it? Like,
you say that, but then
even fucking Warner Brothers showed their 4-minute Batman vs Superman Comic-Con trailer, and within minutes it was on YouTube. Like,
you know which one of these movies is where people started to learn to put it on like Pornhub and stuff because they weren't checking those sites?
Huh. I never even thought about that. That's great.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It was one of the big comic book movies that people started doing that, and it was the only place you could find the trailers because, like, it would be hard for those companies to make their employees search porn sites
Yeah.
to pull down trailers.
Well,
Like,
that, and I mean, all someone has to do is put it under even a slightly filthy for Pornhub title.
oh yeah, they
Right.
don't
know
put the
it's-
name. It doesn't say like Endgame trailer. It says like it says something else.
Yeah.
Big
Fuck
black
machine.
But for this, and knowing how people are nowadays, where Eric, did you say in your theater someone stood up and was like, "Tony Stark dies"?
No, somebody wasn't even watching the movie with us. They came into the theater and from the back area before you get to the seats, yelled it.
Shit.
Yeah, they yelled Tony Stark and Thanos die.
Yeah.
So
that person.
like the only way to combat that kind of douchebaggery is to just get up in front of it and go, "Yeah, this is the shit that happened." So this is why, like, at least it came from us and not from some asshole who's trying to ruin your day.
Yeah, and I mean, with a movie like that, like, I feel like there is a shorter amount of time for spoilers to not be acceptable because it's so huge, it's almost impossible to keep it back. Like,
It is one of the only times where it's like 99% of the time when you use the excuse of like, well, if you cared that much, you would have seen it already.
Well,
Yeah.
Which is like that is a douchey response to spoilers
Mhm.
most of the time.
it was the weekend of like another big.
Gigantic tentpole release.
Yeah, it was the weekend of another gigantic, big spoilery thing.
Yeah.
Which was game. I think was it the finale or the penultimate?
It was the premiere actually.
Because
I thought it was the battle, the one that was too dark that all the babies cried about.
Yeah,
I
think
mean, I know that I watched it the same night as that, but I don't
Yeah,
think it was.
That battle was very dark.
Yeah, it was that one because I remember the people at work were like, "Oh man, we're gonna watch Endgame and then we're gonna find out who dies in the battle." So yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was that episode.
And I
Oh
remember-
yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That's
And I remember people posting like about that on Facebook. I was just like, "Wow, you guys are dicks!" Like, just
well, yeah.
like quote unquote normie.
Dude, somebody on Instagram, somebody I didn't know, and it was one of those like they just throw. You know how like if you follow certain types of pages, they'll throw a hashtag like post on there. And it's like someone like not on my feed, someone I don't follow, just put in big giant black bold text. Wow, it's a shitty way for Theon Greyjoy to die. Fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, well, with Endgame spoilers, I mean, I'd been reading like the week before that people were just putting them in GIFs that were floating around the internet.
Oh,
like
yeah,
stuff that
right.
wasn't
Like,
even attached to the movie.
You may not have been on the show when I said this, but when Logan came out, I was on Facebook and a WWE video about Roman Reigns was in my feed, and like the comment section was visible. And I saw some like 3 comments down. Don't let this video about Roman Reigns distracting the fact that Logan gets impaled on a piece of wood at the end of the film and dies.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I would have found that person and murdered them.
I was like, what a cunt you are. Like,
That's-
Like I said, I saw with the Game of Thrones release, like 3 minutes after the episode ended, it was on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know it's just like, I didn't comment, but I wanted to like comment to the person. It was like just someone I went to high school. I was the one to be like, what are you doing? Like, why wouldn't you just say like, hey, anybody want to talk about this? Like, put it in the things.
This is now a conversation about spoilers for a little bit anyway. Some of the worst people for spoilers that I've ever seen are Walking Dead fans.
Oh.
I don't even watch Walking Dead regularly, and I can tell you what goes on that show every fucking week because within 90 seconds of it happening, there's 40 million memes.
I mean, I can tell you after watching the show for 3 seasons what happens, but
You mean
sure. Yeah.
you mean people are bad, and we're gonna move to this area, and people are gonna be good for a bit, but then people are bad again. And then
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you mean
then we
exactly
have
like
to
the
go-
comic too?
Yeah. Then we're gonna have to start over again and again and again,
Yeah.
and every time it's gonna get a little bit worse than the last time.
Oh, hi, hello, stranger. Oh, you're black? Oh no, he's gonna die.
Wait, this place is full of cannibals? Fuck.
I do. I guess the difference is, at least that has the comic where people are like, well, the comic's been out for years. It's like this, like for Game of Thrones and Endgames. It's like, no, this is completely a new thing. Like it's.
I mean, yeah.
And my thing is like, when you're giving away character deaths and someone gives you shit and you get defensive, like, no, you're being a dick. However, there are times where like people take the idea of what is a spoiler and what isn't a spoiler to the extremes of both ends. Because people maintain it like, look, like a thing that happens that only affects people in the moment and not the larger narrative is not a fucking spoiler. It's a thing that occurs.
Well, like so for example, after Endgame, there were a lot of quotes that came through my head that I wanted to post because they were quotes that were important in that moment, but I was afraid to post those because they might possibly reveal something that was going to happen.
Yeah, like I posted it was like I think it was a gif of Bran from Game of Thrones sitting in his fucking wheelchair when Jaime Lannister rolls up and they have that brief exchange. It's the last shot of the episode, and it only matters to those two characters. And it was like 2 weeks later, and someone was like, "Geez, spoilers!"
Wow,
like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, like I
didn't write that Bran jumps out of his wheelchair suddenly with the ability to walk, and he beheads Jaime with a sword made of dragon dicks. Like,
but that would imply that Bran actually did anything in the season. So
exactly, as than just sitting there and staring at people and being creepy. Yeah, but no, I feel this. I put up I Am Iron Man. I think like after seeing it, and I was really afraid someone would be like, "Oh God, this is a spoiler." You know that, right?
Well, I wanted to post the video of Haley Atwell saying, "Steve, we can go home." No, I wasn't going to do that because that just gives everything away. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a slippery slope, I think.
Lou, weren't you saying that that during a sporting event they had to take the ticker box down at the bottom because people were just throwing in Endgame spoilers in tweets that they were playing at the bottom?
No, it wasn't that. It was on. I'm trying to think what I was. I think it was some sort of like ESPN or something where they like will have like live tweets like show up at the bottom during like a thing.
Yeah,
and they had to. Oh, it was during. Was the NFL draft? I think it was the NFL draft.
Wow.
Something like that coverage. And they were literally like, "All right, guys, you cannot post," because it's an automated thing. We're like, "Oh, certain posts will just automatically pop up in the feed, like on the bottom of the screen," because people are like, they're like, "Oh, hashtag like whatever NFL draft," and people are dropping in spoilers. I don't remember. I think it was
that is also incredibly cunty because like you're not just. It's not just ruining the day of people who want to go see that movie or like rooting their fun. Like you're stressing out a lot of people who are trying to fucking work.
Yeah, literally, like the host, which was I think you'll not remember any of this, but like it was Mike Golick Jr. His uncle is an actor. I'll have to look up what movies he's been in, but like was literally like, seriously, if any of you spoiled this for me, I am literally leaving the set and I am going to go watch the movie. He's like, if I didn't have to be here, I wouldn't be here. And he was like an NFL defensive lineman.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I fucking good. Like,
yeah,
because that's what
if I were him and it would have happened, I would rip my fucking mic off.
Yeah. But that's one of those things, like how much these movies transcend. It's like, which reminds me, like, have you guys heard of Hard Knocks, the HBO thing where they do like summer camp? It was not last year. It was like the last year or the year before. Every episode ended with the players talking about Game of Thrones. Obviously, it's an HBO show, but like it was literally them talking about it, and it's like you literally see like a 6'7", like 280-pound, like ripped as shit, like guy just like running like no with his fingers in his ears running away from like like for some reason, like with the Marvel movies and like Game of Thrones, like transcended like everything.
Yeah, and like it's like this stuff has a lot of meaning to people, and the fact that someone can just you're such a miserable person and you have such little respect for other people's emotions that you're like, yeah, fuck that thing you like, and here's how it ends because I don't give a shit about your joy or this thing.
Yeah.
I am currently not talking to people over stuff like that because I don't like people looking down on things that I ascribe a lot of meaning to.
Right.
And like fucking when Force Awakens came out, like what was it that dude outside of a theater got his fucking ass kicked because he was outside screaming spoilers.
Well, he was just letting everybody know that Han Solo dies, very loudly.
And then I think someone in a Boba Fett costume fucked him up.
I mean, good. Yeah.
It was that, or I can't remember if it was that or if it was a Chewbacca costume, but somebody in a costume beat his ass.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I don't even love that movie that
is
much,
the
but
universe telling you that you're a fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard there was some dude in Hong Kong who I think he got hospitalized because he was outside of a theater screaming Endgame spoilers, and a group of people kicked his ass.
Yeah, I don't know about the hospitalization, but I definitely heard about a guy getting his ass.
Okay,
beat.
yeah. And it's in a much more less extreme situation than like Richard Spencer. If you go outside and like I don't want people to get punched in the face. It's not how you solve arguments. Doesn't really do violence. Doesn't solve a whole lot of anything. But if you go outside and you look into the universe and you say, "I am going to provoke you," and then the universe pokes you back, you don't get to be mad about it. Okay.
No, actions have consequences. Sometimes
Exactly.
those consequences.
If I go into a cave full of starved rabid bears and I cover myself in blood and I do a fucking cartwheel, and then I get eaten, I can't be mad about it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, not allowed to be.
Well, you'll be dead. So.
You don't even have to do that much. Just was it the Grizzly Man?
Oh God!
Just like hang out there and treat them like
that is.
You must never listen to this tape. You must burn it. You must bury it.
I'm like, don't go outside and ruin people's joy, or spread the. Excuse me. Or spread information and propaganda about the ethno state, and Lou's like, you don't have to do that much. You just go sometimes be present, and the universe will tell you that you fucked up.
Yes,
exactly.
Don't be there.
And in all honesty, that is one thing I would like to have spoiled is whatever that Timothy Treadwell tape sounded like.
I mean,
it sounded like raw and crunching.
Yeah, here's the thing. I imagine it's the sound of a lot of. I imagine it's a lot of viscera getting like snapped and
high pitched squeals.
Yeah, like it's noises that you don't want to hear any person ever make.
Because it's like one of the things if the only animals that like kill you fast are cats and reptiles. Well, like
bears won't even kill you if
they eat you asshole first.
Right, and they don't necessarily need to actually kill someone.
No.
They're just eating you to eat you. If they kill you, well, that's a happy accident.
And they eat a lot of you too. It's like what is it?
They eat most of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those poachers who snuck into some. I think it was a prohibited hunting. Like you couldn't hunt in this area in Africa, and like the local officers found them. Like, I mean, we found stuff that belonged to a human body at some point, but it had to be nothing.
The hyenas ripped it apart.
Oh yeah, that's like any canines again are the same way as like bears because they're not canines. They're like they're another group, but like they'll eat you at the legs and then to your asshole, and then eventually if you'll just die.
Well, I mean there's a lot of fat there, and if you're an animal, you need to eat a lot of fat, especially in the winter. So
cats are the only ones that really kill you quick because they go right for the back of the neck to sever your spine.
Yeah, well, because their thing is to just like take you down as quickly as possible without any sort of because they don't want to fight. They're not
They are
scramblers.
hunters. All the other ones are more like, if they're pack animals like hyenas or wolves, they'll just kind of corner you. And then like a bear's just like kind of bumbling around. It's like, oh, you're just too dumb to not be in my way, like not get out of my way.
Well,
Right. Well, bears are opportunistic.
Yeah.
That's what they are. It's
Well,
like
and cats
if
want
you're
to kill you
easier-
because they want to play with your dead body.
Yes. That's also.
I've also seen bears get chased off by French bulldogs. So
Mhm.
Yeah. Basically, if you're
that thing is
easier
fast and
than
loud.
the thing, yes. If you're easier than the next thing, then you're dinner.
Well, yeah. If you're not worth
basically.
the actual like the caloric intake, then you're not worth the time for them.
yeah.
Mhm.
But with like just I guess now we've kind of closed the book on the end game conversation.
Sure.
The Grizzly Man tape. Like, are you legally allowed to destroy that audio?
Technically, yes.
Yeah, because
Yes.
it's not like it was a murder per se. It was I mean,
it
was
It
an
was
act of
suicide.
God.
No, it was suicide by bear.
Yeah, it was an act of God.
Because
what it would fall
like
under.
I heard
not the bears
well,
that you really wanted to be with.
I had heard that for years that the footage of Owenhart's death was destroyed. I guess I heard recently that maybe the opposite, that it was it's been basically black labeled in the archives with like a sticker that says like may not duplicate or destroy or something along those lines.
I'm sure Vince has a copy.
Well, I think something like that they would have to keep for insurance purposes.
Well, and
Okay.
I'm sure the cops also have a copy of it. They have to.
Yeah.
And then there's also all of the people who filmed it, because I watched that shit live.
Yeah,
Oh,
I do
God.
wonder if Treadwell. Yeah, I don't know if because he wouldn't have had an insurance claim. He wasn't living on property.
No,
Yeah,
but
no.
but because it was a documentary film crew, and like I'm sure
Well,
Herzog
no,
But
had,
there wasn't. That
It
was
wasn't.
him filming
It
himself.
was all him. Yeah, it was all him filming
Oh,
himself.
okay.
Yeah.
They just edited together his personal tapes.
Yeah, and they added it to like his family member stuff, and that's all after the fact. But most of the footage of Timothy, it's him or it's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Taking the footage.
Did she also die? I don't remember.
No,
She
I don't
also
think
died.
Yeah, no,
She did?
Yeah, I think they
yeah.
both were killed.
Wow.
Yeah, they both.
Because
they
the
both
story
died.
is that the I guess like one of them wasn't by the tent,
I think,
and the
I mean,
bear
I'm not
wandered
sure.
into the area, killed one of them, and then when the other one responded to what was going on, the bear killed the other one too.
Yeah, and you can hear her in the tape, I think, also.
Yeah, because they were hanging out way past the time. Because it was like when only the old bears who were not good enough to be able to hunt for themselves. And so they were just hungry and starving. It's like the most dangerous time to be around bears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was he and his girlfriend. Yep. His quote unquote girlfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
His gigantic, like, quote unquote girlfriend.
Yeah, his beard. Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. What's the implication here? I don't know the story.
Have you never like he went to go hang out with those bears because he really wanted to hang out with other types of bears. He was a man that was heavily conflicted about his sexuality.
That is a thing that even his girlfriends have said. I think one of
I had
one of his
never heard of
exes-
this before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the entire thing of it is that like he didn't know what to do, and instead of becoming like what were those, the Hail Bob people? Like instead of doing that,
Oh,
God.
yeah, because it's the same thing. Like that guy made that.
Joining a cult.
Yeah,
Instead of-
well, no, the guy that
instead of
created
joining a
that cult was
cult.
also doing the same thing. That's why he became a eunuch in the cult.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which, weirdly
Yeah.
enough, do you know who was in that cult that killed themselves?
The what's the name? of
It's
that
a
guy?
brother of a famous person.
Really?
Yes, the brother of Ahura.
Really?
Yes, and he killed himself. He was one of the members.
Wow, I didn't realize he was a member of the Hail Bop.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Wait, the brother of the original Uhura?
Yes.
Holy shit!
Yeah. Because they were in California, I believe.
Wow. You know that website's still up?
Yes, they have members still alive. One of the reasons they made money, they were making money, is because they built the original, like a lot of people's websites. So it's like one of their money making schemes.
That's funny because that website looks like it's from 1994.
Yeah, well, it was
like
high
the
end.
Space Jam website then.
It's never been changed. It's got like fucking like an obnoxious background, like text on backgrounds you would never fucking see today.
Is it full of like little animated sprites?
Yes.
Does it have the black and yellow border around some areas and a guy digging a hole saying like this part's still under construction?
What was the old? Was it Geosites or Geofire?
GeoCities and Angel Fire.
That's it. Yeah.
I learned when we were talking about before recording in high school, I had like a computer graphics class, and my entire thing was doing those sites. And I got an A+ by just filling it with like Dragon Ball Z sprite. I was like, oh, I can just put these everywhere.
God.
Footage of spaghetti hitting Piccolo.
Oh, dude, you have to go to that site. He has a ton of other awesome, because there's one with Captain Marvel, like the Carol Danvers, and it's like exploding up, and it's like, oh, it looks so cool. And then like as it goes, it zooms out. It's like out of a salad, and it's cabbage. It's like the explosion.
That's great.
It's some crazy Japanese guy. One of my Facebook friends posted it. That's now my Apple Watch background is the Piccolo.
Great. That's great.
I couldn't get over that Piccolo picture I found today. Of just like it was the two fucking action figures and Piccolo's just standing in front of Gohan like he is from the same.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way you worded that was a little weird.
Yeah, that's my new Apple Watch background. Yeah, I'll send you the Captain Marvel one because it's also awesome.
And
there's one with all to go back to Marvel. There's like he's playing Chinese checkers and it's all the Endgame characters.
Actually, you know what? We can pivot back to Endgame because I forgot I haven't talked about this show yet. I finally saw Captain Marvel.
Oh, what do you think?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like really liked it.
It's a very likable movie. There's like it
was really fucking fun. Also, they's lesbians. And no one can tell me otherwise.
It's canon. They're lesbians.
They're lesbians, and I wish Disney would just come out and fucking just like be able to say it without having people go like, "Hey!"
At the very, very, very least, they're like, I don't know. What's the word? Platonic love partners or whatever. Platonic parents or something.
What is the term that Kevin Smith uses in the Jay and Silent Bob? It's like my heterosexual life partner.
Yes.
Right. Like that's the least. The other option is they fucking.
Erik, what the fuck is this?
I wasn't looking at that shit.
It's just something I found. Anyways, continue with Captain Marvel.
It was fantastic. I don't regret not seeing it before Endgame came out because it didn't affect my Endgame enjoyment at all.
It didn't affect Endgame one iota. And actually, the crazy thing with that is they filmed Brie Larson's Captain Marvel stuff for Endgame before they did the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Before they did the Captain Marvel movie. That's why there were some tonal inconsistencies with her character.
Yeah,
well, it's like whenever her character wearing makeup in the one scene, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. The only scene in all of Endgame where I'm like, well, that's the same character we saw in Captain Marvel is when she does the whole thing where she's like, hey, Peter Parker. Like,
Yep.
Like, it's that bit. And then everything else, she's kind of like two-dimensional, not even three. So...
Well, she says like 5 lines in her other scene.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's whatever.
I do like the scene where they're on the computer things and Rocket's like, oh, you can get another haircut. And she just gives him like that. As much as it's not actually dialogue, but like her.
She's like, listen, mutant. Like,
yeah, but so there's not really personality in that. Like, you could have swapped her out with any like character, like a character from the Nova Corps. Then it wouldn't have made a difference.
They don't know
what I'm saying. Well, I mean, the new Nova Corps. You know what I mean?
Nova.
Yeah, like a character. They could have picked anyone, literally anyone. Big Barda from DC. Like I don't care.
It goes into the whole like the thought like what has she dealt with in the 5 years? Because you can imagine that like all right, she comes back because like and shit's gone. One of the only humans that she remembers is gone, and we have no idea about the other two. What they imply is that she never came back until that moment. So she's been
I'm
gone
curious.
for 25 years?
I'm
30
curious
years?
what they do in the sequel because they've said that they want to do another prequel, and I'm like,
Then it's
I just
all
want to
fake.
see her coming back to Earth and being like, wow.
The only thing I would really want to see.
I agree with that, but also at the same time because I'll take like if you. Oh, excuse me. If you present me with any excuse to bring back Lee Pace as Ronan, I'm gonna take it. So if the sequel idea is like, yeah, Ronan makes good his promise, and he's like, yeah, I've come to collect the fucking nuclear woman.
My thought would be
And she's like, how about you suck my dick, and then like flies through his fucking spaceship.
Yeah.
my thought would
Yeah.
be to go it completely because they like kind of do these like weird, like how they made like Winter Soldier's like a spy movie kind of.
Yeah.
If they went like pure space horror, and since they now have the rights back, had her deal with the Brood.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be something.
Because
Yeah.
Captain Marvel and the Brood have like deep connections because they augment the shit out of her powers, and she becomes binary for a while, who is fucking awesome looking.
Well,
Mhm.
here's a crazy idea. How about we have a bunch of thinly veiled Asian stereotypes that are jabbering on about trade negotiations, and we make it a political space movie.
No, there are two of them.
Connor, you have to stop, otherwise the show will be canceled.
No, I give you permission. Who just made catfish aliens Asian?
What the fuck was he thinking?
The catfishes are Asian? I don't know, because they're catfish.
I mean, this is the other thing. Okay, in the
Like,
90s, there was
one of them might as well have said, "Me so sorry."
Well,
Like,
the thing is,
in the
like,
90s,
is that or Jar Jar
somebody.
Oh.
Yes. Okay, so in the 90s, there was a book written called, I can't remember the exact title, but basically the premise was how Japan is going to take over the world in the next decade. Because the world thought that Japan was going to like take over everything the way that people
Japan
talk
doesn't
about
want to
China
fucking take
now.
over shit, but Japan wants to mind their own goddamn
Oh,
business.
I know, but
it had to do with like,
Their
Chinese-
whole
In
thing is
19
isolationism.
in the 90s, though, everybody was afraid of Japan.
all
Apparently,
the car companies were destroying American cars,
Mhm.
like, and all the computer stuff was all Japanese.
And the
Mhm.
goddamn video games are brainwashing our children.
Exactly. So it
Yeah.
was. So I think that that's where that comes from. I don't know if I can explain the rest of
Oh
George
my
Lucas.
god!
Well, what's
And
weird is
his,
always never forget George Lucas is the original Angelina Jolie, except he adopted a shit ton of like random American children.
yeah.
So like he does have like random. I believe he has a kid that's Asian.
I mean, a lot of those directors were though. Like Steven Spielberg has 2 black children through adoption. So yeah.
Well, it's
not-
also
It's
also
a weird
though,
thing if you just get like out of context. Like, yeah, Steven Spielberg has 2 black children.
It's also
I mean, he does.
George
Yeah.
Lucas, outside of his inability to continue to control a franchise he created well, is actually a really good guy outside of that. Like how what was it in his I guess community neighboring area? Like
Man,
he
this
put up
story's so fucking good.
What is it? Is he puts up low cost
Well,
housing?
He wanted to build a film school / studio for students for like an affordable film school for for kids from low income areas.
Mhm.
And the local yuppies were like, "How dare you insinuate that you could educate poor people in our backyards?" So he's like, "All right, fuck a lot of you. I'm gonna build low income housing." So he did.
He did not make that Kermit enough. You have to be more Kermit.
More Kermit.
I'm gonna build low income housing, and you're gonna suck my great
I'm
dick.
gonna write this, and then I'm gonna write the script for episode 7, where we go into the bodies of people and we meet the midichlorians because the midichlorians are people.
We're gonna meet the midichlorians. Okay, we're gonna go inside the cell.
Exactly, and that's
Because
episode 7.
this is what people like about Star Wars.
And this is what I had planned since the end of Return of the Jedi.
I didn't come up with any of this on the fly. Yeah, it's not a coincidence that his name is Darth Vader. That's not.
I definitely did not watch a Kurosawa film and take every idea and make it into sci-fi.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna levy that kind of like, that you could say like you can watch one Quentin Tarantino movie and go like, I can tell you exactly what you watched before you sat down to write this.
Well, I mean, like, the first Star Wars is literally a sci-fi take on Hidden Castle.
I mean,
like, to the T.
Yeah, that Star Wars movie. Here's the thing: every director from that generation, they took things that they liked, and then they just added enough things until it became a different thing.
Yes,
Star Wars is Buck Rogers plus
Kurosawa.
Yes, plus Kurosawa, plus
That's
something else, plus King Arthur, plus etc. 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 And that's why Rian Johnson said, "I'm going to go back to King Arthur, and I'm going to have Luke kind of not be great later on, because King Arthur, if you know King Arthur legend, he dies at the end from an enemy of his own making." So
his bastard incestuous son.
So it's like the CGI Beowulf,
right, which inspired King Arthur also.
Oh my god, it did! I didn't know that.
Well, it's one of those things where nobody knows where the first version of the legend comes from.
Some like Scandinavian thing that was found on a stone.
Well, it might even be. It might precede that. It might be like Sumerian, like ancient.
Well,
like,
I think specifically Beowulf is like Scandinavian, but things were like there's like 7 different stories that are all the same. Like almost every hero story is Gilgamesh, which is like
they all date back to like the beginnings of mankind. These legends that all have very similar ideas and concepts about serpents and monsters, and
a hero that's like a being greater than man, some sort of like cataclysmic event that destroys things like a flood.
No, this is actually like, not to like, I guess it's not a hard pivot, but playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey has really begun to like tickle the old like wow, I fucking love Greek myths. But I also remember that I only ever read when I was younger like the sanitized version of Greek myths, and then as I got older, I read like abridged versions of the real ones. I'm like, wow, all these stories have the worst fucking endings.
Well, yeah, they're all tales.
Because all of them have horrible epilogues.
Yeah, they're mostly morality tales, similar to like or something else.
But I was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and there's a point where it's like, oh yeah, you get to go to Theseus's final resting place. I was like, hey, cool. But then it was like, oh yeah, this is the place where what's his nuts threw Theseus off a cliff because he wasn't popular anymore. I'm like, what the fuck? That's so hardcore. Yeah, that sounds like shit Vince McMahon would do, like if he could get away with it. He's like, "Hey, Roman, come here. I'm sorry, you're just not selling enough T-shirts."
This is where Hercules threw himself onto a pyre.
Yeah, I'm gonna
burn himself alive.
Yeah, come here, John Cena. Your T-shirts aren't selling anymore. I have to push you off this mountain.
Exactly.
Did you meet Xena yet?
What?
Yeah, they call her. They use like the more Greek pronunciation.
Oh, you mean Xenia?
Xenia, yes.
Yes, who is not at all Lucy Lawless at all.
No,
not even close.
They
do. Then she
is a very large, muscular, scarred pirate woman with an eye patch,
and she's I don't know. She's dark skinned, but like they play with race in that game like real interestingly.
Everyone's accents are as thick as peanut butter in that game, and it's fucking hysterical because they're going for like authenticity, but at the same time it's like, oh well, I must go stab this man in the dark. Like,
it depends on the character, because when you meet in the intro of the game, Leonidas is Scottish.
Yes, he is.
Well, that's because of the movie, which is hysterical.
Well, I love that they do that, but it is like the hilariousness of it.
Assassin's Creed used to be like, they used to put a big disclaimer up about like, our team of multicultural professionals and historians worked effortlessly to maintain the historical accuracy of this game. And then by the time you get to Odyssey, it's like, you've got elemental powers and you don't take fall damage, and you can slow down time and teleport.
Odyssey and Origins are in an era where what's history and what's fiction is very blurry.
Yeah. That happens when you get into anything that early in
pretty much anything. I don't even know, like before the Middle Ages is like that.
Well, yeah, it's sketchy in a lot
It's
of
like
in a lot of
sketchy at
places.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, Northern Europe is like nothing until
Oh yeah, the whole dark
12,000.
ages, like nobody knows
Yeah,
what the hell's
So
going
someone
on.
rolled in and was like, "Why is it so fucking dark in here? So you turn the like goddamn light on
yeah.
and learn to write for fuck's sake."
Mm-hmm. How's about writing down your language and then making sure everybody's speaking the same
We
language?
also talked about it, but yes, Sparta was full of douchebags.
This
Yeah,
actually
it was.
our conversation last time reminded me of like, man, I actually wonder if I learned more. Like, I guess I'm like a different case, but I bet you more people learned about history from playing the Assassin's Creed games than in school.
Well, here's the thing. It made me at various points go to my computer and go, I wonder how this actually happened, because I'm sure it didn't end with a man named Ezio
No,
punching the Pope in the face
if you
over
remove
a fucking space rock.
if you remove the main characters and the magic, most of the other stuff is pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't know who the fuck the Borgias were until I played Brotherhood.
And it's like one of the most famous things. There's like a goddamn gigantic TV show with Jeremy Irons. There's
Yeah.
two TV shows.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know Hippocrates didn't really mean much to me until I got into medicine. But then there he is, realizing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
They do paint some people in like in Odyssey, Socrates gets painted really nicely. I kind of ignore like the boy sex.
Yeah, but okay.
That's like a big Odyssey they paint over real.
That's an Athenian thing, though. Also, that's really a Greek thing at that time. Like
Greek and Roman.
Like they didn't really care about pedophilia, but like the Greeks, like hated cannibalism, like despised it. Like that was the greatest offense you could commit is cannibalism, and it was because of Zeus. Zeus drowned the world because of cannibalism, according to
because Kronos ate his sons.
Yeah, Kronos ate all his brothers.
Mm-hmm.
No, he ate
Zeus's brothers. I mean,
and he killed him and released them. He released Hades and Neptune.
Oh yeah.
Well, he like punched him in like the. He punched him in like the throat.
Yeah, he did Gohan to Cell when he spits up 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically. That's basically what happened.
But I'm sure it's far less hentai-y, I guess is the word I would use.
I don't know. Ancient Greek culture is very hentai-y.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Aphrodite is made out of like
on a scale of 1 to 10 where would you put it?
I don't know. Like I was gonna say, I think Aphrodite's pretty much was made because Poseidon just like comes in the ocean, and then it turns into Aphrodite. I think that's her creation story.
God, I fucking love Greek mythology.
I mean, Hades is basically an incel. Like,
yes, because he gets the shit job. It's like one brother gets gets the ocean.
So he never has. I don't think he's ever had sex with
Persephone,
the one girl. Yeah, I don't think he's ever had sex with her. Like he tricked her boyfriend into trapping her in Hades' realm forever.
No, it's the story of like how they explain winter and autumn.
Yeah. Yeah, because she was a demigoddess and she has to visit her mother once a year, and her journey is their
spring turning into summer, and her journey back is fall, and then she lives in Hades in the winter.
During the winter, yes. Greek mythology is weird. Very, very
Greek mythology is rad. When you start peeling it back, you're like, here's a story of Narcissus, who looked in a river once and was like, that is a beautiful, beautiful man staring back at me. I'm going to sit here and stare at this beautiful, beautiful man until I cease to exist.
Yeah. Well, some of it is also like very sexist. Like Athena, like turned a woman into fucking. No, she turned a woman into a gorgon when she had sex in front of her statue. I want to say
Sure.
And Hera's basically made out to be like this crazy like wife that stays with her husband, who's also her brother, because even though he's cheating on her with anything that has a pulse.
Oh,
Like,
Zeus be fucking left and right. He just flies down.
yeah.
He's like, "Yo, I'm a chicken."
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Zeus can fuck anything, but if you have sex in front of Athena, she'll turn you into a Gorgon. Gorgon's the snake person who can turn you into. That's what Medusa is.
Yeah.
She's a Gorgon, which is basically a zombie in Greek mythology, which is interesting. That their zombies can do that.
I like in the Clash of Titans remake when everything is just turned into heavy metal albums.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
harpies are like
cool.
vampires because they're like crazy bird women.
Mm-hmm.
But between actually Origins got me into like the a bit of the Egyptian
Egyptian mythology
and like I didn't really know any of their gods outside of like Ra.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I know a lot about them, but I always was fascinated by all the stuff that they had.
I
There,
know
like weighing your heart against that of a feather to see if you have more sin. Yeah.
There's also, again, it's a lot of Egyptian mythology is very similar to Christianity. And like Osiris,
isn't that something?
Osiris is very Jesus-y.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like the Christians copied stuff from other religions or something.
Oh, you mean like most of their major holidays are actually based around Celtic holidays? Isn't that something?
Right? Yeah.
No, there's no precedent for this. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and Jesus looks a lot like Emperor Constantine after Constantine converted to Christianity. That's
Well, he did that like literally as he was dying.
Right, but also
held
because
out the
he wanted
end.
he wanted to make a connection between him and God.
He wanted
to
to stop us.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
No, but I didn't know anything about Set or any of those other ones. And like, as soon as I the more they talked about Set in the game, I was like, well, that sounds fucking awesome. And then I took a dive into the whole like mummifying crocodiles.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, with what's his name? Is the crocodile god?
Not Anubis.
No, Anubis is the dog who's basically Hades.
Yeah.
Because they DC used him because he's one of Black Adam's dudes.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm forgetting.
Because in Black
what's the name of the giant crocodile that we talked about on that Shadow Zone?
Yeah, it's Sobek. Yeah.
No, that's Gustav.
Yeah, his name is Gustav. That's his name.
Yeah, because in Blackest Night they do the thing where it's Black Adam. I can't remember the character's name, but it's Isis's little brother, and who got killed.
Sobek.
Yes, but Sobek killed him, and when he comes back as a zombie, he sees Killer Croc and loses his shit.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know they mummify crocodiles, and like I didn't know that I didn't know anything about the city of this. I have trouble pronouncing this every time I even think about this word. Crocodilopolis.
Yeah, it's the whole thing with like trying to translate something from ancient Egyptian to Greek to Latin to English.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just crocodile spelled with a K, but add Alopolis at the end of it.
Crocatopolis.
Yeah, Crocatopolis. But like,
Crocodilopolis.
It was apparently Dr. Octopus.
Yeah, this is
Dr. Octagonopus.
This is the name of the main character from the '98 Godzilla, I believe.
But there was a city that like when I got to this city in Origins, I was like, this shit can't be real. I guess they just fucking lived among crocodiles, and it was just kind of mostly cool.
I mean, yeah.
They're really kind of slow moving on land, so
but apparently they would
throwing them.
They would throw them. They would put headdresses on them, and they would decorate them. Like they would put jewelry on them. Like they worship these fucking things. Yeah. I'm like, how do you get close enough to a crocodile without pissing it off?
And I mean, a shit ton of food. So there's
my understanding is this. Yeah, my understanding is that as long as they're not too big, and as long as they're well fed, and you have food on you, they probably won't attack you, especially if they're used to people.
Because they bred
become
them. It's not like they just found them. Like, there was like a breeding program.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! Okay then.
Yeah. It's like if you breed lions, which is still dangerous, but
they never fully get tamed.
Mm-hmm. But it's not the same as like if we just like captured a bunch of alligators and started living among them. Like that's a different
it's like
story.
10 generations later of that.
One of us can be Timothy Treadwell again.
Exactly. And it'll work out exactly the same way.
I saw a dude. It was on this Instagram feed I follow called Unexplained Posts, and it was about a guy in Japan who has I think it's a pet alligator that he's had since it was born, and I think he's the only man in the country who's allowed to have this pet. Because I guess like there was like he got special paperwork, and I guess like people have looked into this. Is like, no, that thing has never acted in any way hostile towards anybody. Has never tried to bite anybody. They're like, he just has a fucking alligator that is totally cool with him.
Yeah, I guess if you just always keep it fed, what does it need to do? If it's literally just sitting in a thing, because it's not like, especially like reptiles, they don't like, as far as I know, and I am not a biologist, like they don't have the same like sexual drives as like mammals, because that's one of the big problems with like mammals, like trying to train a tiger or something.
Well, it's like it's the same reason why like a house cat doesn't just like pounce on you and try to sink its teeth into your throat when you're sleeping. It's
but they will do it every once in a while.
I mean, like
I
wouldn't put it past them, but it doesn't happen every day. When you take an animal like you take a super predator and you shrink it down, and you consistently raise it inside of an environment where it doesn't have to hunt, like it's like, yeah, I know you're right there, and I could bite your leg off like effortlessly, but like, why the fuck bother? Like,
well, we've only ever done that with 2 animals.
Yeah,
and we literally have no idea how dogs came about.
Well, actually, what's funny is that we went over that when I went to the Pima Medical Institute, real quick, because they were. It's important when you start talking about like socialization. And I guess like the prevailing theory is that it was kind of like that movie Alpha that came out.
Oh no, yeah, that's like the basic theory that like a caveman would just like feed wolves near him.
It was right. Dogs, basically dogs and wolves or whatever like their ancestors were like, that smells good and it's warm. If I throw my ears down like this and wag my tail and stick my tongue out and sit there and put a paw up, they'll give me food. And
I think that was a later addition, but I think it's pretty close. Like,
there's no recorded history of it.
Yeah,
it's just like the evolution of wolf to dog is basically the exact same time as like Homo sapien to like our current or whatever we were to current Homo sapien.
Yeah, so, it all happened pretty well because it all happened pretty close together, is my understanding. Like,
yes,
cats came after horses is actually what
cats came out of Egypt, like the evolution. They worshipped and raised them, like the crocodiles. But yeah, but dogs were like immediate. Yeah, like our first domestication.
Well, pharaohs got buried with cats, didn't they?
Yeah, they were deities. Everything was like reincarnation and stuff.
Yeah, and in Europe, cats fed on mice and rats, which is helpful.
Until they blamed them for witchcraft and the Black Plague and then killed them all.
Yeah.
Although they were killing the rats.
Yeah, actually, speaking of the whole mummification process, like I found this videos detailing like it just sounds crazy. It was like, our ancient Egyptian mummy curse is real? And the hard answer was like, well, no. But here's what happened in detail. It's the first team of people who wandered into King Tut's tomb. And they basically said, like lots of little things that those people did surrounding finding, getting into, and leaving the tomb all inadvertently led to those people's deaths.
Well, yeah. They also are reintroduced to bugs. It's that stupid Dan Brown, the like Da Vinci Code's like the third one. It's like, oh, we find like a disease that's been extinct for forever, so we don't have the immune system. So there's a bit of that kind of stuff. And you're also breathing in shit that's been dead for 1,000 years.
I mean, it's not just that. An entire industry popped up around ancient Egypt where they would suck out the sort of decaying matter, and they would sell it as a health cure.
Whoa! They would take mummies and you would bring them to parties in Europe.
Yeah,
and be like, hey, check out my mummy.
I can't remember what it was called. There's a term that's pretty widely used, and it doesn't mean at all. Like, you hear it and you don't actually connect the meaning. I need to find what it is. I think it wasn't lore, but it was a Cabinet of Curiosities that did an episode about it. Aaron Mankey's other show. And yeah, but it came out of that. People like taking this like ooze, basically like human oil, and selling it, and also using it as like lamps and all kinds of stuff. It was like a wonder product of the late 1800s.
That reminds me, I don't know if any of you saw when they had unearthed, like, what was it, a black sarcophagus that had 3 bodies in it. I think it was somewhere near Egypt. And there was liquid in it because it had been apparently preserved so well. There was not a GoFundMe, there was some sort of petition going around by people who demanded to be allowed to drink the red liquid out of the sarcophagus.
Oh my fucking god. Why? No, okay, here's the thing. Like, me as someone who doesn't want to roll those dice, like, if I'm in a position of any kind of authority that would like allow that to happen, like, don't start a petition. Here's a spoonful. Like, knock yourself out, you idiot. Like,
they put you inside like Magneto's prison from X-Men. Like, all right, let's watch you just melt.
Yeah. I'll let you do it for free. You don't have to pay for anything, but I'm going to observe you until you die from it.
Here we go. It was a change.org petition.
I mean,
like, here, like, there was the I can't remember what her name was, but someone unearthed a Chinese mummy, and she was found in this coffin with like some kind of black liquid in it. But they also said when they found her that whatever this liquid was preserving her so well that she looked like she had died last week. But then as soon as oxygen got to her, she went, and then she shriveled up like a fucking corpse.
I can't remember. I'll have to Google it. But there's actually like an amazing ancient story about a Chinese emperor where his tomb, it's one of the things, because you know how like they have those terracotta soldiers?
Yeah.
And apparently underneath the tomb, in his design, he wanted a lake of mercury to be forever continuously flowing around a sarcophagus. And they have never found it because they can't, like, any sort of excavation would collapse the whole structure.
Oh my god, that's bad fucking news.
So they have no idea if it's under there for real. But they definitely know that there's other parts.
Imagine knocking out a single stone and just seeing like the fucking river of slime from Ghostbusters. You peek in and there's just a single coffin, just like barely suspended over a lake of molten mercury.
Well, it'd just be like a single coffin, like a sarcophagus on a pedestal, and then a liquid like lake of like metal.
Cancer. It would be a lake of cancer.
Like someone goes like, "What's in there? Nothing. Yeah. Nothing at all." You put the stone back. Like,
no, you become the creature from Prophecy. Just a giant deformed bear.
Dude, okay, I'm not sure what's more sad about the petition: the fact that it exists, or the fact that 35,274 people signed it.
Yeah, but a lot of that's like being funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
it's initially
most of it.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people on there like, I demand to be allowed to touch it and drink it because it's my right as a God-given American.
Oh no, I think it's more like those like really gothy like black metal like those type of people.
Well, whatever the case may be, Bailey Gunclaves, one of the only 2 comments says, "I just want to try the juice."
Oh, he's out and about and he's on Twitter now.
Hold on, there's more reasons for signing. We demand access to imbibe the cursed elixir.
God fucking damn it.
Right below that one is Yummy Mummy. And below that one it's Yinesh Yog Sothoth Healing.
God damn.
It is a violation of my human rights to deny me the elixir of ultimate doom.
I'm training for a marathon. This could give me the edge. I need to die instead of running it.
Well, I mean, and this is me confirming something I said earlier. Mummies were used as medicine from 400 AD to the 19th century.
The people in the world have the right to drink dark, questionable fluids. Comments are amazing. I didn't buy the bendy straw to let it go to waste.
It's pretty great. Shit, there was something that was tangentially related to our Endgame talk from earlier. And from reading more about it, it seems that it's been going on for a while, but now it's popping up again since Keanu Reeves is the internet's boyfriend right now. But apparently, Kevin's been trying to get him to be in a Marvel movie since I don't want to say Iron Man, but pretty much since they started becoming very successful. Like, apparently they've been on the horn with him almost every movie to be like, hey.
I think, here's the thing. I think he has a quote from like a year ago where they keep coming to him with this, but he keeps turning it down because he doesn't feel like it's the right part for him.
I mean, he's not the first person to say something like that. Matthew McConaughey has said many times that he was offered many Marvel scripts and many DC scripts. But he just never liked the part.
He did Dark Tower.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wow, Lou. You're just gonna go there, aren't you? Dr. Sleep coming this November.
I'm just saying, the man has made choices. What was the other movie he had come out this year? They just did it on
Beach Bum?
No.
I know what you're talking about.
Serenity.
The movie where
he's a video game character.
Yes,
that's the big twist.
Yes. Yeah, and isn't a kid is hacking the game or something like
that?
No,
he's making the game, and he's actually his dead dad. And then because the kid's
fucking what?
Oh my god!
Yeah, I almost saw this movie in theaters after I heard this because
I'll do a quick plot crunch. It's a kid. Matthew McConaughey is the kid's dad. We find out the kid's dad died in Afghanistan or Iraq. His mom, Anne Hathaway, got remarried to a guy who beats the shit out of her. And so we don't see them in real life. We only see the kid on the computer. And he's programming a game in which it's like a fishing game because he has a memory when he was 3 of fishing with his dad. And then the rest of the movie is inside the game and the characters slowly realizing they're in a game and that they're not real. And like the other, like Anne Hathaway's in the game and other people. Diane Lane is in this movie. So the kid is programming Matthew McConaughey, his dead dad, to also like have sex with people and be kind of like a man hooker.
I love Hollywood's consistent misunderstanding of how video games and designing video games works.
Well, the craziest thing about this movie, though, is I thought the ending implies that the kid is going to go kill his stepdad.
No, it doesn't imply. It's straight up he kills his stepfather and goes to jail. And then it's like in prison, and he has like a imaginary phone call with Matthew McConaughey inside the game.
What the fuck is this?
It's one of like the 13 million permutations of Bandersnatch. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's the
That's
one
a
after
joke
the
for
happy
Harlan.
ending.
Exactly.
And Matthew McConaughey is like wet the entire movie.
Yeah, of course he is, because he plays a fishing boat captain or whatever in the context of the game.
Oh, do you want to know how he figures out he's in a game?
How?
He opens up a map that he has, and the only thing that's there is the city that they're in. The rest of the map is blank.
Great.
Yep.
I would love it though if he just sailed to the edge of the map and he couldn't sail any farther, and then he starts to die. And then fades slowly into red.
Okay, first of all, like
redemption.
There's a still shot in the trailer where it's like Matthew McConaughey's head is like kind of he's looking down, and it's Anne Hathaway looking like she has a facial expression like Beth does from Rick and Morty when Jerry is very clearly in a simulation. Like her eyes are looking straight ahead. She's not emoting. Like I'm like, okay, that's not real.
No, I don't think that's not Matthew McConaughey. That's the stepdad.
Yeah, the stepdad is fucking what's his name?
He's in like he's always a bad guy in like every movie.
Yeah, he's from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He's the human character, the
Jason Clarke
Franco replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Consummate in this.
the one sentence plot of this movie is hysterical. A fishing boat captain juggles facing his mysterious past and finding himself ensnared in a reality where nothing is what it seems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure.
So, to go back to what you were saying earlier, Arlen, instead of it being like he can't go any further when he reaches the end of his world, what it should be is that he just starts coming out from the other side of the map.
Wait a second.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. This is the simulation episode of Rick and Morty, the movie. That's all this is.
Seems it.
Well, yes, except that the character who's in the simulation is part of the simulation. Like, no one in the simulation is actually real. The whole real part of the movie is the kid in his room making a game while his mom is in the other room getting the shit kicked out of her.
Yeah, but here's the other part of that. Morty's dad is pulled in the simulation and doesn't know he's in a simulation until it's over. Because he's that much of an idiot.
But he's also real.
And he wins the Appley Award for coming up with a pitch to sell apples.
I just remembered who directed this movie. So it's Stephen Knight, who directed Locke, Taboo.
What?
He's the creator of Taboo and Peaky Blinders.
Wait, really? Oh my god.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's
guy?
a bummer.
And he wrote Eastern Promises.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Wow. This is insane.
Well, he also made Taboo, which is that other weird show that what's his name was on FX.
Was he taking methadone when he wrote this?
I don't know.
No, okay. I'm gonna pivot to a story about a movie that I want to do for Movie Dumpster because you said that and lightning struck my brain. So there's a movie I pitched that, and we typically don't want to do movies that are within the last 10 years or so. Like unless it's really special, we won't do it. I found a movie called The Evil Within. It's got Sean Patrick Flannery, Michael Berryman. Huh?
I said that sounds really familiar.
Well, there's 2 games with the same name.
Okay.
Well, the problem is this movie went into production before either of these games came out. Michael Berryman and Carrie Russell.
Oh, I know the poster to this movie.
Okay. So this movie was written, produced, and directed by an eccentric millionaire who turned his mansion into a film studio, built several animatronics by himself, built a bunch of practical effects by himself, and at some point became the editor of the film and died before it was finished because he was a crazy isolationist meth addict.
Oh, it has
and the movie plays out like it was made by a fucking meth addict.
Dude, you can tell from the poster. The poster has I think it's Matthew McGorry on the cover, and he's the dude from Big Fish who plays the giant.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's the dude from The Hills Have Eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the last movie he was in. He died during production. He was a cameo appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And now, granted, this movie took, I think, it went in production like 2005 and didn't come out until 2017.
Well, they spent $6 million on it.
Yes. And it's full of like weird fucking it's pulled directly from dreams this fucking director had. And I guess like the longer this went, like Michael Berryman's already pretty old. And Michael Berryman was having like serious health problems by the time the movie was even close to being finished. Like people were quitting left and right. I think by the time like this movie was close to being done, the director just fucking died in his editing studio.
I mean, well, it's because
from intestinal bleeding from complications of alcoholism and meth abuse.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So
I was like, fuck the movie, make a documentary. I'd watch the shit out of it.
Oh yeah, I'd watch the hell out of it.
Oh my god.
I mean, the other option is that The Guyver is a documentary, and Michael Berryman. Michael Berryman is his own one.
I like the idea of this director and the special effects artist and everything else. He's creating these animatronics out of like chicken bones and like old Sprite cans.
No, and that's here's the thing. That's the thing. he made really complicated and effective animatronics with seemingly no previous knowledge of doing this.
Well, meth gives you a lot of energy.
But he was a meth addict and he had
Right.
millions he was sitting on. Like, he converted his house into a studio, and it stayed
lived
that
the dream.
way.
He died doing what he loves: meth and making
movies
and drinking.
I mean, hopefully we can all find our place in life like that.
Let me see if I can find when this started production.
Oh, I saw it. It was 02.
Oh, Jesus Christ! It took 15. It took.
Oh, okay. So he's a Getty. Is he?
Oh,
Is he? Yeah. Okay. Yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is one of those Gettys. Okay.
What do you mean?
That
What do you mean?
explains it.
Oh, you don't
He's
know
part
about
of
the
the Getty
Gettys.
family.
No.
Like John Paul Getty, like the guy whose grandson got abducted and he had millions of dollars and could have paid to get him back at any time.
Oh,
but
he had billions.
Didn't want to. He was the richest man on earth at one point.
Yeah, he founded the Getty Oil Company in 1957. He was named the richest living American in 1996.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. No,
all the money in the
okay.
world and the TV show Trust are both about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Oh no. Okay, then this is my next pick, undisputably, because that, like, I just pitched this, like, just the stuff about the director being a meth addict, like, and Sean and Joe were like, "Oh, really?" But
but no, he's from a family line of super rich people, and he's not the only one who's a drug addict like this. John Paul Getty II also died from drug addiction and stuff like that. So
Balthazar Getty's dad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think John III, he's not dead, but I just saw a picture of him. He's like motorized wheelchair bound. So
my God, what did this family open up a mummy's tomb? What the fuck?
I think it's like a curse type situation. Monkey's paw.
I think it's more that John Paul Getty was just a terrible human being, and he passed on that trait to his family because his sons then treated their children terribly, and so on and so forth. Like being the richest person in the world makes you kind of a terrible asshole at that point, especially when it comes to oil.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys can, you should definitely watch Trust on FX. It was quite good. Like, it's God, who played Getty?
Donald Sutherland.
Yes, and he's such a bastard.
Yeah, this is a person who's been played by three great actors of our time.
Okay.
Donald Sutherland, Christopher Plummer, and Kevin Spacey.
Oh,
Oh no!
Is the Gettys that created Getty Images?
Yes, it's the same Gettys. It's those Gettys. It's
Holy
insane.
shit. Their Wikipedia is awesome. It's like a family tree, and then half of them have their own Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're that big, that happens because that's wow.
Yeah, well. There you go. Now you know a little bit more. You can throw at the guys when you.
No, we have to do this now. There's no way I can back off this. Because
I would have gotten the shotgun and I would have made you guys do it. What the hell do you got for it? You're doing this episode, boy.
What do you mean you mulled it over?
No, that's way different than the movie I remembered today when I saw it on the guide, which was Vampire in Brooklyn, which I forgot existed.
Oh no!
Which is a Wes Craven film.
Well, there's been three movies that I've been really wanting to do, which is I want to do the original Pulse, the Japanese version, because the remake is not worth talking about because it's just a bad remake. But it's a bad remake in the sense that it's loud, it's annoying, and it just offers nothing. The Demon's Rook, which I put that trailer in, which is a 2013 GoFundMe movie, which is you watch it and go this is a GoFundMe film. This is fantastic. Which it's the entire budget was spent on amazing practical effects, and they relish in this weird demon lore that they came up with about a kid who is basically touched by like a realm of demons. Like he had contact with them and was specifically leaving his bed at night to go commune with one named Dimwos, who taught him how to fend off evil demons. And then evil demons vaporize this kid's parents one night, and Dimwos abducts this kid and raises him.
Yeah, it's a real journey of a trailer, but it was fascinating to watch.
Again, it feels like kind of what happened with like Raditz and Piccolo and Gohan.
Yeah, I don't want to go all the way back to the Getty thing, but I just want to point this out. I looked it up. So the Getty family goes back to the 1920s. So basically, they're the real life version of fucking There Will Be Blood. I will drink your milkshake.
I have
That's one of my favorite scenes.
First of all, it's fantastic that he does that to fucking Paul Dano of all people. Yes. It's just it's Daniel Day-Lewis's lanky ass legs, and he's got them bent at like perfect 90-degree angles, and they're spread apart, and he's like, I have a straw, and I take my straw all the way over to your yard, and I drink your milk. And he's doing like this weird like crab walk.
He's the human embodiment of that thing from The Conjuring 2. The not the tall man,
the crooked man.
That's it.
Crooked man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they do the Crooked Man movie, it needs to be Daniel Day-Lewis. Pay him all the money you need to get him to unretire from acting.
What a lanky son of a bitch! Like he's even a cartoon-looking motherfucker in like Gangs of New York.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mostly because his pants are way too tight and they're pulled up to his chest, so he looks like he's 90% legs. He's like I imagine Hunter actually is, but probably isn't.
I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done now.
I'm done now.
I don't know how, but you literally triggered a memory of because I watched There Will Be Blood at one friend's house of like one of the worst movies I've ever seen that was so goddamn weird, and I had no idea it was a Terry Gilliam movie. Tideland.
Oh God, I've heard that one is probably his worst movie ever.
Oh my God, it is so fucking weird. I would not. It's actually a movie I would suggest never watching.
Yeah,
but it's so weird and bad.
Can I get a Terry Gilliam thought out into the open now that like there's a platform? Okay, his pitched idea for Watchmen is hot garbage.
Oh yeah, totally.
He
doesn't care. So
wait, I don't think I've heard this. What's his pitch?
Okay, so it's the real clinger comes in the ending. He wanted to change the ending to something like Dr. Manhattan doesn't leave Earth. It's somehow like he uses his powers to transfer everyone from the Watchmen world into the real world and turns Watchmen into a comic book.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, that nullifies everything about the story. Well, everyone, every time this is brought up, everyone's like, "Oh man, Terry Gilliam had the most like out of this world, crazy, excellent idea for the Watchmen movie." Blah 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 blah.
Did somebody read that at DC and went, "Holy shit"? It's like, I'm sorry, that sounds a lot like Doomsday Clock in many ways.
I was going to say, yeah, that's how it's going to end. You're all going to be so pissed off.
All I have to say on this one movie, though, is that
and Terry Gilliam putting down Doomsday Clock, and he goes, "Well, that was shit."
In Tidelands, Jeff Bridges spends half the movie as a stuffed corpse on a chair.
Okay, well, I don't actually know what Tideland is about. I know the title.
Explain it to you. So here's what it says. It goes, because of actions of her irresponsible parents, a young girl is left alone on a decrepit country estate and survives her fantastic imagination.
What?
Okay.
Here we go. Here, if I found a more succinct, little Jaleesa Rose has a very warped childhood. Her parents, Jeff Bridges, Jennifer Tilly, are both drug addicts, and one of her daily chores is to prepare their syringes. After her mother dies of an overdose, her father, Noah, takes her away to his childhood home.
I already hate this film.
But his own mother has passed away, and the house is decaying. Then Noah overdoses, and while his body rots in his chair, Jaleesa Rose meets a taxidermist and her unstable brother.
That's not totally accurate. So he goes to that house because I think it's his like ex-girlfriend.
They're saying it's his childhood home.
Yes, it's his childhood home, and the woman there is either his sister or his ex-lover or both. And so he dies, and she stuffs him and leaves him on the chair. And then she has there's a mentally challenged man who has a weird love connection with the teenage girl. And then they end the movie where they dynamite a train track and derail a train.
All right.
Okay. I still know nothing about this film, but okay.
Actually, most of that happens in the first 15 minutes of the movie.
So I'm reading the Wikipedia about the Wikipedia. What Morty?
You can't protect him, Rick.
But the critical reception, I guess, it won it's Spain 2005 San Sebastian Festival. Thailand was awarded the esteemed. There's a lot of letters to this thing. It won a big prize. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it, but it looks like an anagram or an acronym.
The Fiparichis.
Yeah, that thing. And I guess people were like, "The fuck." And it was only a commercial and critical success in a single country, and that country was Japan.
I mean, that makes so much sense, actually.
My one friend he's like, yo, I got this new awesome sound system and this theater set up in our house, and we all go over and smoke and drink a bunch. And he's like, yeah, we got this awesome Jeff Bridges movie. It's made by this guy who's this thing. We're like, all right, going. And we're all just sitting there all right, man, it's been 40 minutes. This is the worst movie we've ever seen. And then after a certain point, we're like, we just have to finish this because this is the dumbest, weirdest shit I've ever seen.
So wait, he picked that movie and not something I don't know, 12 Monkeys or fucking Time Bandits?
This is old at that point. This was...
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. He was trying to be artsy, I guess.
I get, but come on. Come on. I don't like that. I don't like trying to be artsy for people who clearly aren't going to super appreciate it.
If what's a crowd that would have super appreciated this movie is just bad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's
Richard Roper has one of the best quotes about this movie. It says, "I hated this film."
I mean, that sounds right. That sounds accurate.
I don't know how to describe it.
I love seeing a professional critic just be that fucking blunt.
It's
fucking I hated this movie.
Nothing happens. It's just uncomfortable and weird.
Right.
There's another quote that says creepy, exploitive, and self-indulgent.
It's very self-indulgent.
I came very close to walking into the screening room, and I never do that. Hallucinatory and extremely unpleasant.
Yeah, sounds like you should have
entered this diseased Lewis Carroll universe at your own risk.
Oh my! Oh wow!
Yeah, there's definitely just weird kind of pedophilia stuff with the kid. That's where it gets a lot of Alice in Wonderland stuff because your main character.
Why do I feel okay? So I'm looking at a picture of Terry Gilliam. Why do I feel like he looks like Tom Arnold? If you
yes,
if you
that's not incorrect.
If you squared his head and gave him more wrinkles, what the fuck? He's got a Hawaiian shirt.
He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, that's not incorrect. Yeah.
This movie made it opened in the U.S. and in a single theater. Its first run, it made $7,000.
Oh, I would hope it's $7. It's one discounted ticket.
And it was probably an old person who didn't know what they were seeing.
And then it was then expanded to 9 theaters, and it grossed $66,000.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where I'm I don't know why I've seen this, but I've seen this.
Look, it's that's half my suggestions for Movie Dumpster. Okay, it was something I walked by in a Blockbuster one day and said, "The fuck is that?"
Yeah, but this is one of those movies I would never have seen. It's just my friend put this on when he had a bunch of people over.
Yeah, but I can luckily say that I've made more pleasant discoveries that way than I've made unpleasant. I might have mentioned on here before, but we ended up not doing it for Movie Dumpster because it's a little too weird and a little too hard to talk about as far as the conversation goes. But there's a movie with Ryan Phillippe. I think I've talked about the show before. Franklin.
Yeah.
where it's this fucking weird ass movie where it's like an anthology movie, but all the stories are connected, and one of the stories is like heavy fantastical in a world where you can have any religion you want, which means you can be the Order of Folded Towels, like, or something. And like, there's people roaming the streets in like these really decorated sets, like who like represent the Church of Thimbles or some shit like that. But it's all taken deadly seriously.
Oh my god,
it's really interesting. But then again, it's also led me to movies like Frankenstein Unbound, which has Raul Julia looking sleepy-eyed for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It's amazing that someone can take Gomez Adams and go, all right, don't do anything.
I have to make a revelation that I just figured out.
What?
The star of Thailand appeared in.
Oh no.
Was a Freak of the Week of Smallville.
Of course.
Of course she was.
I fucking quit the universe. Like,
I saw, like, I was looking through pictures of the movie, and there was like a close up on her face. I was like, "Oh no, I recognize this face."
I don't know if like I'm in the middle of some sort of Truman Show esque like joke where it's like the dome's gonna be lifted, and there's no such thing as Smallville. It's just I've been living in this fucking giant joke of an existence for 32 years. Yeah. We live on the moon. There's no Smallville.
Nope. No such luck. No such luck.
But there is a film called The Brothers Grimm, also directed by Terry Gilliam, and that movie's bad.
There's also a movie called Zero Theorem.
Wait, The Brothers Grimm, is that the one with
Heath Ledger and Matt Damon?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's very much the studio being like, "Hey, you need to rein it in," and he gets one scene that's very Terry Gilliam-ish.
I feel like there's like 6 of those movies. It's like that one, Hansel and Gretel with Jeremy.
Whoa. Okay, first of all, that movie is directed by the guy who made Dead Snow, and it's a fucking fantastic time. Okay.
Wasn't Vin Diesel in one of these movies?
He was in Last Witch Hunt Witch Hunters or Last Witch Hunter or something like that.
The Last Witch Hunter, yes.
Which is a D&D movie, technically, because it's based off of, because believe it or not, Vin Diesel's a D&D player, and it's a movie based off of one of his characters that he would play in D&D, because he's a fucking dweeb.
If they would have promoted it like that, I think it would have done better.
I agree.
Hey guys, my psycho.
I mean, it would certainly undercut his entire image, though.
At this point, like, he literally walks around like in those stilts just to like get into character for Groot. So,
and for those who have seen Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters and didn't enjoy it, and think that that's all that guy can do, you need to watch Dead Snow 1 and 2, because Dead Snow 2 has like zombie Nazis running over people, walking their babies in fucking carriages, and has like some dude who gets a possessed zombie hand who can punch people's heads off in a single blow, and some of those ridiculous gore sequences I've ever seen.
Okay, so here's the thing. I didn't know that it was that guy, and if they had actually advertised it that way, more people would have actually seen the goddamn movie.
Oh my god.
I can't remember.
Gemma Arterton.
Oh. See, I feel like when I saw the trailers, I was like, "Oh no, not another Van Helsing."
Dude, okay.
I saw that it was coming out in February, and I was like, "Okay, fuck this movie."
Yeah, no, it got given a death slot, and it's also got savaged by Rotten Tomatoes. But in Dead Snow 2, there's a scene where a zombie medic is treating quote unquote wounded zombie soldiers who are walking up in this kind of assembly line kind of thing, and he's fixing their severed limbs with toilet plungers, and giving them cheeky thumbs up. You're good to go, old chap. Pats in the back. And at some point, someone comes up with their intestines falling out, and he starts stuffing them with hay, and then he crudely stitches them back up, and then again gives them a pat in the back and says, "You're good to go." And this all happens in the middle of a Swedish village while someone has also resurrected old communist zombies to fight the Nazi zombies.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. And then the main
Sure.
character and the enemy's Nazi zombie have a knockdown, drag out brawl through someone's house. I think the zombie throws him through a ceiling. He does an arc and comes down through a ceiling above a staircase and falls down the staircase. It's amazing. I'll put a trailer in the chat window. But I think we can wrap on that.
Yeah, we're just about.
We have gone everywhere in this episode.
Pretty much.
Basically.
But I'll do some.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, we still like Endgame. It's a good film.
Endgame's good. Here's the thing. I think the problem is like everything about Endgame has already been said. But I think the important part is like, hey, some time has passed. Has the elation worn off? No, not really. Like,
no, it's not like injecting heroin straight into your veins. Not that I would know what that's like, but still, it's not crazy. The enjoyment. It's just like, yeah, it was a good film. I liked it. I enjoyed that film.
It's a once in a lifetime kind of film.
That was a very shifty-eyed, like emotive metaphor you just made there.
Yeah, it was the dog who ate something it shouldn't have, and you find it doing that. And it's like, I didn't do it. No.
Yeah.
Like that video of the guy who comes home. It's like that video of the guy who comes home and he's like greeting his pit bulls who are happy to see him. He's like, "Here's my beautiful babies. Now who ate my pants?" And they both run away.
Yeah. I will say this though. The A4 scene is not handled well. It's a good idea. I didn't like the way it was handled. That's it. Yeah. Otherwise, I like the film. So
I think I still have issues with because they haven't been addressed yet with the time travel tangent universes stuff.
Yeah, I don't care.
They explain it, but
yeah, it's whatever. You're never going to explain time travel well in a movie like that.
Yeah,
exactly. Like I think
like we're about to hit our 6th Terminator movie, and none of those movies make any fucking sense.
Well, every movie's a different timeline.
Half of them ignore the ones before it.
Realistically, the only time travel movie that actually makes sense, and you have to have a PhD in quantum physics to understand it, is Primer.
Yeah.
I kind of like Donnie Darko's time travel.
That's such late time travel, though. I mean, if they're going to do time
very
travel,
similar to Endgame, like in what they're explaining.
It is, yeah, and they do. And by the time you realize it's a time travel movie, you're like, well, why was that even there? Why was that even? Yeah. Why was that even necessary?
Yeah, give me Looper for a good action / time travel.
Oh yes,
that is one of my favorite time travel movies.
Yeah. Donnie Darko's not an action movie though. It's like a weird.
General. Honestly, I've cooled on Donnie Darko so much since I last saw it. Like,
yeah, I haven't seen it in a decade. Which
I've seen it more recently than I think most people, like most of us, have, and I still like it a lot because it's still got some like really great acting in it.
Did you watch the regular or the director's cut?
I always go the director's cut.
The director's cut is so much better.
The director's cut is like it's like when you go and not that these movies are in any way related as far as quality, but like a more recent example is like you watch the BVS Ultimate Cut, you're like, wow, that was a complete film. Or like any other movie where like you watch the theatrical version, you're like, I feel like I'm missing a lot of information. The director's cut is just filling all that in because it wasn't savaged by some studio executive.
Well, it's like I would say like another movie like that's like Daredevil. It's a completely different film, like one cut from the other.
Yeah. I think another one was like Chronicles of Riddick. When you watch the director's cut, you're like, this has entire characters and plot threads that are just fucking excised and tossed in the garbage in the theatrical version. Like,
I'm wondering if I've ever seen the Chronicles of Riddick director's cut.
Dude, there is deep lore surrounding Riddick's race that is brought up in that movie. Where like he has full on hallucinations and like visions of a siren to his people or like a prophet.
He does.
And like they established like birthmarks and like what the necromongers like did when they got there. The character later on who like steps out into like what is it when the sun's rising and gets burned.
The guy who plays Yeah, same guy who plays Egbert in
Yeah.
Vikings.
I think like in the director's cut, he takes off his armor to reveal that he also has a Furion birthmark, and that's where you get like it's not just like he's not like, oh, and by the way, yeah, I'm Furion too, and just dies.
I remember that being in the movie, but you get more setup for it in the director's cut.
Yeah, there's
that's
way
what I
more.
remember.
Like I think Vin Diesel's asleep in a ship and wakes up to this woman touching his chest. But like it's all like the horizon changes in a different location, and he wakes up not knowing what the fuck it means. She shows up like 2 or 3 more times.
Yeah,
and then like that's played up
she's
later.
Supposed to be his mother, I think.
Yeah, and then in like movies like I think a movie like Stay Alive, the killer video game movie.
With Frankie Muniz
from Walt Disney Pictures. They removed the creator of the video game from the theatrical cut, so you get no information about it in that version.
Wow.
They go to his house and they get like why he built the game, how the game works, blah blah blah, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And like in the movie, they just don't go there.
Right.
Also, I can't believe that movie has like what is now a pretty celebrated TV actor and that dude who's from Westworld. I can't remember his fucking name.
Oh yeah. Jimmy Simpson or whatever.
Yeah, he's in that movie as like a weird pimply face, like young adult who's just cracking wise. And I didn't think I'd see him in anything ever again.
What was the name of the movie?
Well, he played that character for like years though. Like even on Always Sunny. What the fuck?
Even in House of Cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now he's in like an upcoming miniseries with Ben Kingsley.
Yeah,
Ben Kingsley doesn't really have the
Ben Kingsley did
the weight that he used to.
What was that terrible movie he did with Mike Myers?
Well, here's the thing: he's in a lot of movies. Guru. Like, so I found out recently because I was watching Dragonheart the other night. Don't ask why I was watching Dragonheart.
Yeah,
I was watching Dragonheart, I have problems with Dragonheart, but we don't have time to go into Dragonheart now. We just don't, because my problems are so weird and so deep. This has to be a whole other episode. Thewlis. I have so many issues with it. Primarily the fact that it takes place in 986, and we know who was king in England in 986. Okay. Motherfuckers, don't fucking fuck with history like that.
It's a movie with a talking dragon.
I don't care. We know who the Saxon king was. But anyways, what was I saying? I found out that Ben Kingsley voiced the dragon in 2 sequels to Dragonheart.
Oh
not
no!
One.
Wait, I didn't even know that there were sequels.
There was one sequel which I watched long ago as a kid, starring the older brother from Malcolm in the Middle. The brother who's in Alaska and in the military. Yeah, that one. And then there were other movies apparently that are very like Game of Thronesy, where like there's a whole family that got part of a dragon's heart named Drago. And they're all competing to like get the whole dragon.
Like
so
talk about stretching a fucking like the first movie ends with like, nope, he's the last one. And then fucking Dennis Quaid buries an axe in his chest. Like how far can you stress that fucking premise? But I do want to end this part of the conversation by saying I once played the Dragonheart Sega Saturn licensed video game. And it's basically you walk in a straight line horizontally with poorly digitized actors, and you swing swords at people, and they go and they fall over, and like 10-foot blood streams fire out of their corpses for some reason.
That's great.
I did want to say, like the one guy you were talking about, he plays one of my favorite characters in the Psych TV show, which was Mary Lightly. That's his name. He's like their weird creepy super fan.
I wanted to ask if in the Dragonheart sequels, if there were any female dragons that the original dragon smacked around a little bit because they got mouthy.
I think in the first one, the dragon that gets killed in the beginning is a female.
Well, that's because she just wouldn't stop.
Dennis Quaid's hair and
He's like, well,
Sometimes they just keep on
serves you
going.
right for not making me a sandwich fast enough.
Well,
Oh
you
my
see,
God.
Barbara, sometimes, like you're doing right now, they just keep on going on the subject. Like, he straight up
Sometimes.
threatens to.
Yeah.
All I can think of is what movie was it that they were? When they did how this get made. What's the weird one where he wears the weird red getup?
Zardoz.
Oh,
Zardoz.
Zardoz.
In the episode, it's like, here's a bitch, there's a bitch, here's a bitch, smack a bitch.
Yes. God, that movie starts in the weirdest, most obtuse way.
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
it's called lots and lots of like acid.
The penis
Oh, no,
of
not
evil.
Okay, here's
It's
the thing. I've
giant
never.
face comes at the screen.
Here's the thing. I've never seen Zardoz, but I've seen the Rick and Morty
Oh.
episode it's based on, and I have to see
Oh,
it.
yeah.
You need to see the movie.
Yeah, where the fucking
See it.
the giant head shoots out
Guns.
Guns and bullets.
well,
it's
no,
not just that.
in the Rick and Morty episode, it's on a planet where women are the
It's the-
dominant race,
Yeah,
and they
it's the
just
sex robot thing, right?
and it just
Mhm.
spits sex robots out at these fucking these ape-like men who live in a different part of the world.
Oh no!
Yeah.
In the beginning of Zardoz, like this giant stone head Zardoz, it
Right.
comes out and gives a speech about how the penis is evil and it creates seeds that make more. What is it? I
Mhm.
forget what they call
That's
it.
like that's the after because there's an intro piece of like in
Yes.
another head just as like a person's head with a drawn on mustache giving a weird intro to the movie to like
Yes. He's
I
like,
forgot about
this
that.
is I am Zardos. You are about to see a story about a version of myself from the past, or
What is it,
maybe the future.
Like,
I totally forgot about
What the
that.
fuck? What is this? What is this fucking retarded Dark Souls? Like,
do you know who
Kind
made
of.
this movie?
It's the same guy who did Excalibur. It's
John
John Gorman.
Gorman.
oh my god. Okay, now and now that I've like not rediscovered Excalibur because I've never seen it, but now that I got more
What?
information on it, I've never seen Excalibur. No, I
Dude,
here's
you've
the
never
thing.
seen
Oh,
Excalibur?
my
No,
God.
here's the thing. No, we had this conversation where I said I kept thinking Excalibur was a movie I saw when I was
Oh,
little.
that's right.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Where I saw a man who I found out later was played by Sean Connery get decapitated by a very effeminate looking guy, only for Sean Connery to go, "Body, come to me."
Are you talking about the Highlander or like what do you?
No, it's I gotta look this shit up too, but it's a fucking weird ass fantasy movie. I thought for years, every time someone mentioned Excalibur, I thought that was it. And then I looked, and then I saw like a 45-minute long like video essay about Excalibur, and I was like, "Holy shit! This is the closest thing I will ever get to a Dark Souls aesthetic movie. I need to fucking see
And
this."
Helen Mirren plays goddamn Morgan Le Fay.
Helen Mirren
Oh.
looks fucking beautiful in that movie.
Oh,
She's
she
beautiful
is.
in everything she does always.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's so good, and the fight with Mordred at the end fucking holds
Mhm.
up.
They do
so
so
well.
much. They pull from like real like Arthur stuff because the ending character is what's his name, who's like a very forgotten knight. That comes in that starts as a squire. That's the one that finds the Holy Grail.
Yeah, and then like I
Sir
saw
Gawain, I thought.
and then I
Yeah.
saw they used the same actor to play Arthur throughout his entire life.
Yes.
Yes.
And he looks
and,
great
like,
when they
ages
age him.
naturally.
with babyface Gabriel Byrne and like a bunch of other actors. I fucking
Liam
Patrick
Neeson?
Stewart's in this fucking movie. Liam
Liam
Neeson.
Oh
Neeson.
yeah. Yeah, man, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, you need to see this because
Yeah, I'll probably
it's
watch it this
insane.
weekend actually.
Oh,
After
and was the movie you're thinking of, Connor, Sword of the Valiant, The Legend
Yeah.
of Sir Gawain of the Green Knight?
yes, it was.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, it's from 1984.
Yeah, there's a scene that like it's just one scene where this very very frilly looking kid just flops off Sean Connery's head. But like he just walks over, like picks his head back up and puts it back on, and then he makes fun of this kid. What the fuck?
Yeah.
yeah.
Connor, when you watch
Sean Connery
Excalibur,
wears a wedding dress in Zardoz.
yes, when you watch Excalibur, I don't know, maybe you already know, but like as you're watching it, tell me who you think the actor playing Arthur is, and if you've seen him in something else, because you
Okay.
definitely have. So yeah,
I think I remember seeing that in the video essay too. But oh no, what is this? Yep. Oh, there he is. Look at his stupid ass head.
Yep.
Oh my god!
It's like a
Look at
weird Genghis Khan looking thing.
Look at that headpiece. What the fuck is going on there?
A lot.
Yeah, too much. Anyway, but yeah, the kid who chops his head off looks like Prince Charming from Shrek, but with like a more pronounced haircut. All right, let's get the fuck out of this episode.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll just keep on going.
Yeah. I mean, we could theoretically do this all night, but I'm very tired, and I'm sure some of you are.
Yeah. Same.
So I've been Connor McGraw. I know we didn't do intros in the episode, but at this point, if you don't know who we are and you're still listening, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
Or you're Andrew Littler, and we don't care. So
yeah, and we've made it very clear who we are in the past, and you just won't listen. And we're finally not 4 white guys talking.
Right. Yeah.
It's okay. We get this.
I guess that's a reference to me.
It's okay. We get the same problem. Someone uncommented a movie dumpster post and said, like, look, look, when the 3 of you fast talky East Coasters get going, I don't know which one of you is which.
I mean,
I know
here's the
you
thing, Connor,
because I know you, but like the other 2 guys, like, I lose all the time.
Yeah, here's the thing,
Connor.
I don't hear the accents because I never hear mine.
Right.
So
I don't really hear an accent for you.
Mine's problem is mine's evaporating because I'm out here with people who talk much slower than I do.
Probably the same for me because I'm like technically in the South.
But when I go back east, it's like anybody who goes back to where they're from. It just starts flying fast. But that and like my dialect is now a mix between Western, Southern, and Eastern. So I say things like ain't and y'all. But I also have weird East Coast habits too. So what? Oh, why don't you see hairy arms in a wedding dress? Stop it!
Yeah, but yeah, like if I haven't spent at least 500 hours listening to your voice, I would. I think I would lose you in that.
I wonder how accurate that number actually is.
It's probably low. Yeah.
Well, we're closing in on 70 After Darks and how many Phantom Zones?
I don't know.
It's probably close to 500 hours.
I think that might even be a low number. I might be lowballing us.
But anyway, yeah. So Child's Play 3 is out. So there's a microphone issue with that episode. My audio probably doesn't sound that great because it suddenly switched to my onboard microphone and I didn't know it. So I'm probably gonna sound that great. But on that episode, we had a guest that Sean brought in. His name is CB Smith. Oh, I'm sorry. And he has a YouTube channel where he talks about the difference between novelizations based on movies and, well, he talks about novelizations based on movies, the difference between the book and the movie. And he's also a collector of these novelizations. He has a copy of the novelization of Child's Play 3. I think he said some copies of it go on the internet for about $120.
Of course they do.
Yeah, because it's rare. It's out of print. Yep, there it is. There's the fucking Rick and Morty shot. Child's Play 3 is out. I don't know what the fuck we're doing next. I know Super Mario Brothers is out. I don't remember what we did before that because it feels like it's been an eternity.
Prehysteria?
Huh?
Prehysteria?
Yes, it was with our own very own Reverse Flash, as I've said, as a young bad joke telling child, who is getting icy hot poured in his dick at some point in that movie. I'm not making that up.
I saw that movie as a child.
Why is Super Mario Brothers not on my?
Yeah, it's not on mine. Child's Play just popped up on mine.
There might be an issue with the feed.
Okay.
We're using Spotify or
I subscribe on all of them because I try to boost numbers.
Yeah, well, it's also supposed to work in our feed a little differently. I'm not sure. It depends on. I know Spotify is sometimes a little late, but that's what's going on with that. I don't really have anything else to plug in the future because I'm not really sure what we're doing at this point. We kind of July next month we are doing big budget bombs. So we're going to do a bit more high profile things. I think at some point we're doing Terminator Genesis. We might be doing that or Terminator Salvation. I'm not sure. I was married to doing Clash of the Titans 2009 a long time ago. So that's my pick.
Doing John Carter.
We might do
that
John
movie's
Carter.
Not bad though. That's
John
the
Carter's
problem.
good.
Yeah,
I just mean
it's a
because
movie.
wasn't it something just beat it, right? Like in the last year or two.
As far in terms of bombing,
Yeah.
Gods of
I don't
Egypt, I
know.
think.
Yeah, Gods of
There's-
Egypt.
Yeah,
It is.
probably.
Here's the thing. Like, I know the Clash of Titans remake is not looked on very kindly, but I really like that movie.
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible. It's just.
Here's
Not
the
as
thing.
good as the original.
If you called it the Gorgon's Head, it would be fine. Like if you didn't call it Clash of the Titans and bank off the fact that it's a remake, I think it would accept it a little better. It's got some like ridiculous action sequences, and some like really beautiful CGI monsters with
God of War the movie.
So here's the thing: none of the remakes have had it for me, because you gotta remember, when I was excited for that movie, I really loved Incredible Hulk. That's why I was angry that Edward Norton got replaced, and I wasn't going to see the Avengers. So I really loved him. I really loved Louis Leterrier because of that movie. So I was going into that movie with a lot of hype, and I thought Clash of the Titans was going to be like the best movie of that year or some bullshit like that.
I will say that movie has one of the best trailers I've ever seen.
It does.
See, like I think I saw the original like 50 times. So it was like one of my dad's favorite movies.
And honestly, like I've seen the original a bunch of times, and it's very slow and very silly. But I understand why people are upset that the remake is the way it is.
I didn't know that was a movie, so yeah.
The original Clash of Titans?
Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing.
It is very slow, sword and sandal, like, and you look at the villain and go, "That's a man with a beard, and he's painted red." Like,
the Kraken, for some reason, is a weird 3-armed green monster.
Oh, the Kraken's a fucking gill man.
Yeah.
It's
a very weird. It's the same time as like the Legendary Adventures of Sinbad. It's like the sword and sandals.
But then again, like the remake, the Kraken comes out of water. You're like, that's the Incredible Hulk with tentacles. Like,
right? Yeah, I mean, yeah. But that
anyway,
design would go on to be reused by everything, the same way that the cave troll is.
Yes, but that's all my plugs. I'll let somebody else go.
Yeah, we're taking forever tonight. Lost Sorrow podcast comes out every single week. There's an episode this week. I just haven't edited or uploaded it yet because I'm good at my job, guys. That I'm not paid for at all. So yeah, look forward to that. And Monster Mash, which will have new episodes out soon if I can pin down Hunter and Erik here for a recording. So yeah.
No, never.
Yeah.
I refuse. Hey, I'm in the coveted third spot since Tallboy couldn't make it because he's doing things.
Tallboy falls asleep. Tallboy.
Tallboy had fulfilled his oxygen maximum for the day and had to go lay down.
Exactly. He used up his family's amount, so they
Bears thin up there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Erik Fedorchak. You can find me on Instagram at Erik_Fedor. There's pictures of dogs and cats and food and comics. I'm also floating around the Phantom Zone. I'm there. I'm just whatever, man. I'm throwing stuff out there.
Just like whatever, man. It's your opinion.
Yeah, man. And currently I'm trying to deal with a very antsy, not even antsy, a very large dog that was just neutered on Thursday. And he doesn't seem to want to settle down for the evening because I'm sure it's getting to the point that his balls are probably where his balls were. It hurts a little bit. So I'd like to add they were delicious.
What the fuck happened to my balls?
It's not even that. No, he's just.
Where are my testicles, Summer?
Yeah,
where are they?
It's just for like the last 45 minutes, he's just been lying down, getting up, moving, lying down, getting up, moving, lying down, getting up, moving. And
you wouldn't know what to do with yourself either.
I can't do anything for you, man. I already gave you your pain pill and your anti-inflammatory for the next 12 hours. Like,
how about my balls back?
Nope, not going to happen because we don't want to have our 8-month-old puppy get pregnant with Newfoundland babies. So,
also, with his size, that's like, hey, here's a free plate of cancer.
Yeah,
or they'll be giant and they'll be super energetic.
And he'll piss and fuck everything. Okay,
exactly.
Well, that, and it's also he's 2 years old, so it's probably really weird for him at this point because our vet said, like, if you want him to get to his full growth potential, you got to let him get to 2 years. And
What
also,
are you going to do about it, Jerry? Rub my face in your.
well, that, and also, like you were saying in the chat, like earlier this week, Connor, like veterinary science isn't an exact science a lot of times. So
No, it changes, and sometimes hospitals will change with it. West Charleston. Oh, I can just name my former employer, run by Dr. John Kempf on the air. What?
Oops.
I don't work for that fucker anymore.
Exactly.
And besides, once the veterinary board in this state changes, he'll be out of a job.
There you go. But yeah, that's
This
it for
has
me.
been vet talk.
I know. I'm dog ball talk. It's all you, Lou.
Yeah, so I'll just to abbreviate. If you're listening to this, listen to the other shows on the Phantom Zone. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Hit the little bell thing on YouTube. Tell a friend. That's always nice.
There's no show where we talk about Smallville. It doesn't exist.
No, if you write a review, we will read it on the air. This is true.
It'll be revealed that we are actually part of Smallville.
I guess starred in season.
That'll be the day when you're gonna find me for a show, and there'll be just one bullet between my eyes.
Because what's hilarious is even if we did like a true crime show, it would include Smallville.
Yeah.
Fuck off! Stop! God, I can't even die without Smallville.
And yeah, go to losharo.wordpress.com. Check out all the other podcasts. I'm on Legion of Tunes. There's a ton of podcasts there. Subscribe to all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I wanted to pull a quote from Zardoz, but I've never seen it, so I can't. Just the Rick and Morty version.
can I
The
spoil?
gun is good. The penis is bad.
It's evil.
Oh, evil.
Yes.
Evil. Yes.
It spits out seeds that create life.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the Rick and Morty one, Morty spreads his seed instead of a sex robot, and that's why Rick has to go to that planet. And then they see Summer, and then Rick goes, "Great, I have to take over an entire planet because you're stupid boobs."
Bye, everybody.
Bye. I'm very tired.